The galactic station, Harmonia's Rest, had never experienced such chaos. Not during the Vrelian trade disputes. Not during the oxygen recycler malfunction of Cycle 447. Not even during the infamous incident when someone introduced fermented beverages to the Quilnari delegation. But today? Today, Lyra Dawson had walked through the airlock, dripping wet. Cub Korik, a young Zentarii barely past his third molt, was the first to witness the horror. His 6 eyes widened in perfect synchronization as water droplets fell from Lyra's hair onto the pristine metal floor of the station's common area. His fur, a silvery blue that marked him as barely an adolescent, stood on end. Emergency. Korik's voice cracked across 3 octaves, a feat that shouldn't have been biologically possible. Medical to Sector 7. Containment breach. The human is melting. Within seconds, alarms blared. Station personnel from a dozen species converged on the scene. The Quilnari doctor arrived first, his tentacles already reaching for emergency medical supplies. Behind him came Security Chief Vronax, a towering Korthian whose crystalline exoskeleton refracted the emergency lights into dancing rainbows across the walls. Lyra stood in the center of the growing crowd, her jacket still dripping, a look of profound confusion on her face. In her hand, she held a datapad she'd retrieved from the planetary surface below a simple errand that had taken her through what humans called weather. "What's happening?" she asked, squeezing water from her ponytail. "Don't move," Korik shouted, maintaining a distance of at least 3 meters. You're leaking. Your structural integrity is compromised." Dr. Quilnara extended a tentacle cautiously toward Lyra, then recoiled when a droplet fell from her elbow. "Human Dawson, please remain calm. We're going to stabilize you. How much of your mass have you lost? Are you experiencing pain? Disorientation?" Lyra blinked. Then understanding dawned, followed immediately by an expression somewhere between amusement and exasperation. "I'm fine. I'm just wet." "Just wet?" Korik's voice rose to a pitch that made several species cover their auditory organs. "You're dissolving. Your exterior is failing. It's water," Lyra explained, holding up her hands in what she hoped was a calming gesture. "From the rain. The precipitation. On the planet. Below us." The crowd exchanged glances of confusion and mounting concern. Vronax's mandibles clicked nervously. The human walked through the acidic atmospheric discharge voluntarily. "It's not acidic," Lyra sighed. "It's just water. H2O. Same stuff you all drink." "We drink it, yes," Dr. Quilnara said slowly, as if speaking to someone suffering from severe cognitive impairment. "We don't allow it to cascade onto our bodies from the atmosphere. That's barbaric." More personnel had arrived. Station Commander Thress, a dignified Etherian whose species communicated primarily through bioluminescent patterns, pulsed urgent orange and red across her translucent skin. "Someone explain this situation immediately." Korik stepped forward, his adolescent sense of importance overwhelming his fear. "Commander, Human Dawson subjected herself to atmospheric water bombardment. She claims it was voluntary. She may be suffering from psychological breakdown. I recommend immediate quarantine and neural scanning." "I went outside when it was raining," Lyra said flatly. "That's it. That's the whole emergency." 8. Thress's bioluminescence flickered through confused purple patterns. "You chose to be struck by falling water?" "Yes." "Repeatedly? For about 5 minutes, yes." The crowd gasped a symphony of horrified sounds across multiple species. A young Vrelian in the back fainted, her crystalline body structure ringing like a bell as she hit the floor. "Why?" Dr. Quilnara's voice carried the weight of someone witnessing incomprehensible tragedy. "Why would any sentient being do this?" Lyra looked around at the assembled aliens, some of the most advanced species in the known galaxy, capable of faster-than-light travel, quantum communication, and reality manipulation, and they were all staring at her like she'd just announced plans to juggle antimatter. "Because," she started, then paused. How did you explain rain to species who only encountered water in carefully controlled environments? Because it feels nice? The silence that followed was deafening. Korik broke it with a whimper. It feels nice? The atmospheric bombardment feels pleasant? Yeah, Lyra shrugged, sending a small spray of droplets outward. Half the crowd flinched backward. It's refreshing. Cooling. Some humans find it relaxing. Relaxing, Commander Thress repeated, her bioluminescence now cycling through colors that didn't exist in any translation database, the Etherian equivalent of complete system failure. Humans, Vronax said slowly, his crystalline voice resonating with dawning realization. Allow water to fall on them from the sky. For enjoyment. Some of us even go outside specifically when it's raining, Lyra added helpfully. We call it walking in the rain. There are songs about it. Songs, Dr. Quilnara whispered. They sing about voluntary atmospheric water exposure. Korik had gone completely still, his 6 eyes locked on Lyra with a mixture of terror and awe. What else do humans do for fun? Lyra considered this. Well, some people like to swim. That's where you voluntarily submerge your entire body in water. For hours sometimes. 3 more aliens fainted. And there's surfing, that's where you stand on a board and ride waves, which are like moving walls of water. Moving walls, Vronax repeated numbly. Oh, and whitewater rafting. That's where you get in a small boat and deliberately navigate the most violent, turbulent water you can find. Commander Thress's bioluminescence had gone completely dark. Dr. Quilnara's tentacles had gone limp. Even Security Chief Vronax's usual imposing presence had diminished to something resembling a crystalline statue of existential dread. Korik, however, had a different reaction. His fear was transforming into something else, something that looked suspiciously like the hero worship common to young beings, encountering something far beyond their comprehension. You're the bravest being I've ever met, he breathed. Lyra laughed, actually laughed, which caused another small spray of water droplets and a fresh wave of gasps from the crowd. I'm really not. I just got caught in the rain. Caught in the rain, Korik repeated reverently. She got caught in the rain. And she survived. It's really not. Will you teach me? Korik interrupted, his voice full of desperate hope. About the rain? About the water? About human courage? Before Lyra could respond, Commander Thress's bioluminescence sparked back to life in sharp, authoritative amber. Absolutely not. Human Dawson, you are hereby restricted from planetary surface access during any form of precipitation. We cannot have our cubs thinking that what? Lyra interrupted, her voice taking on an edge. That nature isn't something to be afraid of? That a little water won't hurt them? It could hurt them, Dr. Quilnara protested. Different species, different tolerances, then they'll learn their limits, Lyra countered. But you can't protect them from everything. Sometimes, you have to let them get a little wet. The crowd fell silent again, but this time it was different. This time, they weren't staring at Lyra with horror or confusion. They were thinking. Commander Thress's colors shifted through thoughtful blues and greens. Perhaps, she pulsed slowly. There is something to be learned from human resilience. Korik's fur was practically vibrating with excitement. Does this mean? It means, Commander Thress interrupted, that we will consult with xenobiological experts, environmental safety specialists, and possibly psychiatric professionals before we make any decisions about anyone walking in the rain. Lyra grinned, squeezing another stream of water from her hair. That's fair. As the crowd began to disperse, still muttering and gesturing with whatever appendages their species possessed, Korik lingered behind. Human Dawson? He asked quietly. Just Lyra. Lyra, he corrected himself, testing the name. Was it really nice? The rain? Lyra smiled. Yeah, kid. It really was. Korik's 6 eyes sparkled with determination. Someday, he declared, I'm going to be brave enough to try it. I believe you, Lyra said. And she meant it. As she finally headed toward her quarters to change into dry clothes, she could hear the station's communication systems lighting up with urgent messages. No doubt, every species represented on Harmonia's Rest was contacting their homeworlds to report the latest evidence of human insanity. Lyra didn't mind. Let them talk. Let them wonder. Let them slowly realize that humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology or their warfare or their diplomacy. It was their willingness to walk through the rain and call it beautiful. Behind her, Korik was already pulling up files on Earth's weather patterns, his young mind racing with possibilities. The cub who'd declared a weather crisis was now dreaming of storms. And somewhere in the universe, humanity's reputation grew just a little bit stranger.